Although not a big fan of the flat gamma. It's a little lower than I guess I expected for the day, but we still kind of keep closing at VWAP. Um, I did expect us to drop today. Obviously, I didn't factor in Trump saying a bunch of bearish shit. However, we got a little bit of a move up in gamma neutral yesterday. Things were looking a little bit more bearish as profit taking continued on the upside move. This is now kind of a failure from the reversal, which failed to retest the all time high. Um, Obviously, we're going to look on that lower trend for support and a push back up as this kind of continues to bear flag, but we're definitely getting more defined bearish consolidation over this period as, the US and China continue to escalate um, trade disagreements. Out here, obviously, we got support on the prior week close, but failed to bounce back to 67.50. This does open up an opportunity for downside continuation where we'd be looking at like the 66.97 level for a more complete breakdown and a move back to the lower trend of this kind of broadening. It's very sloppy, but it is a broadening wedge. At which point we would expect to see, volatility increase greatly, should that continue. Um, Out here, dollar pretty flat on the day. Yields continuing down, but at a fairly modest pace. So still some demand there. 1 month correlation, moved up pretty. Why is that? Okay, that's weird. Yeah, 1 month correlation kind of snapped back into open, but fell again into the end of the day. There's still, a lot of demand for dispersion due to the increased IV into tech earnings. So I think it'll be at least maybe like another week before we see another big move in dispersion, unless some sort of news pushes things really hard. But it does look like it recovered pretty sharply there into close. And then commodities up, gold up a little, silver selling off a little bit more. Gold had a stronger bounce earlier today, but it kind of faded. Maybe retest the 4,000 level or get to the 4,000 level where it's likely to find more buyers. Copper up a little bit, agricultural commodities moving. Oil with a very big move, sanctions against Russia, prompting a push back up towards $60 a barrel. Obviously, that's not inflationary pressure yet. We would probably want to see oil above 65 a barrel for it to start to change inflation expectations. But, if there's continued escalation with Russia, or, a breakdown of the ceasefire agreement with Gaza, then we may see more of that geopolitical pressure drive oil higher. I think oil's very cheap right now, but supply is also very high. So the cheapness of oil is fairly valid. Um, ES slipping today about 50 points. NQ almost 100 with threats against the software industry from the Trump administration in order to combat China's pressure on rare earth minerals. And then, Russell getting hit the hardest down 150 points. So definitely a bigger sell off in the over concentrated areas of things, with ES benefiting a bit from its oil exposure. No significant moves in bond volatility here. Still pretty flat. We did get another positive spike in the forward yield on volatility again today. Leverage on both the long and short end of the carry flat. However, the 10-2 continues to rise and demand for bonds remains elevated. One second. And that is driving up the demand for long volatility. Skew pulled back a little bit today. We did notice some out of the money put movement. Not too much change there. And we're still seeing short vol come in, however, very mildly. I don't really think it's affecting too much right now. They're definitely not piling in into more stable positions with duration. And Fed Fund futures pretty flat. 10 2-year curve, not doing much. Still a 1 point spread on SOFR. And leverage up a little bit today, but up a little on downside price movement, which might not be the most bullish signal. We'll see if that leads to a continuation down more, if that is in fact out of the money put demand. Here we fell below the MA20 again today. We did expect to retest it yesterday. However, we did manage to close back above it, which does continue the bullish bias into the back half of this week. We need to slip the 30 EMA in order for things to really turn bearish, and that's down around 66.43. At which point we would open up larger downside moves, 6600 or 6508. And I guess that's about it for now. Pretty much everybody a loser today. Very few winners. Some performance from Microsoft, IBM. Health tech did pretty well, but almost every other sector besides oil really kind of shit in the bed. Banks continue to sell off pretty hard too. Then Tesla down a little bit in after hours, but I would assume that it could move a bit more. Do you end up going bearish on Tesla? Like a little, not much. It's just a broken wing butterfly. Let's see if it turns out positively for me. Targeting like a move back to 420 or 415. And I think that's it. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. I will see you bright and early tomorrow. Later.